I am not by any means a draft prospect expert when it comes to NBA players, and if you saw my video last year on Evan Mobley and how he was going to be a bust, then you understand why. But when I watched Victor Webanyama and Scoot Henderson play last night, even I had to sit there and be like, dang, I really understand why so many teams want to tank to have one of the top picks in next year's draft, because these two players are special. Let's talk about Scoot first, because I feel like he gets a little less attention than Victor, and he actually won the game last night. His team beat out Victor's team 122 to 115, despite an incredible second half push from Webanyama. Henderson finished the game with, I believe, 28 points and 9 assists, and when you watch how he plays, he just looks very comfortable out there. He's already been, I believe, in the G League for a year, and he's going to be on the G League Ignite team for the remainder of this year as well. He's only 18 years old, and this guy looks very similar to Ja Morant, like a player who's just going to come in, play the guard position, and already be comfortable in the NBA. He's very athletic, he's very crafty, he's a very smart passer, and he just looked good out there. He looked like an NBA player. That's the best way I can say it. The guy looked NBA ready right now at the age of 18, and I think a whole year of experience later, he is going to be a very clear top pick in the upcoming draft. This kid's going to be great. Victor Wembanyama, however, is the guy everybody wants to hear about, everybody wants to talk about, and he's a little more iffy for me, alright? When I look at this dude, he's 7'4", 220 pounds. He is an absolute freak, okay? He plays like a guard. He started the game playing like a guard. He drove right to the rim, past a guy on the perimeter, and had a very cool looking layup. He's an incredible defensive presence. He had 5 blocks last night in the game, and he also scored 37 points, 21 of which came from three-pointers. This man shot 7 of 11 from three-point range at 7'4" barefoot. That is insanity. He plays like a guard. He's a great shooter. He's been inconsistent so far in his career, mind you, but he very clearly has the ability to be a very good NBA caliber shooter. And he's like, just the hype around him, the potential that this player has is incredible. I think the last guy we saw who really looked like he had this kind of potential would be Zion Williamson, because you got these guys who are clearly very talented on top of being athletic freaks of nature. Zion is built unlike really anyone else in NBA history, and so is Victor Wembanyama. We've never seen a dude this big who's able to play the way he does. He's a rich man's, in theory, a rich man's Kristaps Porzingis, or I don't know, some other big, there's quite a few big guys these days who play like guards, but nobody who plays it the same way Wembanyama does. However, I do think he is a more risky prospect. Similar to Zion, you've got a guy with a body like this that is so unique, and there's a reason there aren't more human beings on the planet who are 7'4". People just aren't designed to be that big. I look at him, and he's not as skinny as Chet Holmgren. He doesn't scare me as much, but the fact that he's 7'4" now, he may not even be done growing. This guy might be 7'6" or 7'7", by the time he is drafted next year, and while that makes him even more tantalizing in terms of his upside, it also continues to raise his injury risk. How on earth is a dude that big gonna stay healthy playing in the modern NBA? 220 pounds sounds like a lot of weight until you put it onto someone who is 7'5". That is not an especially heavy dude at that size. He needs to put on a whole lot of muscle, and even if he does, we just don't know if his body's going to hold up. He hasn't been, like, marked as an injury worry already, but I would just be really, really hesitant as a GM to draft someone that size because of the injury worry. I would still do it. If I get the number 1 pick right now, I would take Victor Wembanyama next year. Let me be clear. His potential is out of this world. He could be one of the best NBA players in the world in a couple years. He's very clearly got some more room to grow compared to Henderson, but his raw athletic ability and size and what he already does at his age, also 18 years old, just insane. You've got to draft him. You don't have a choice. But I am very worried about his injury potential. With all that said, These two players are incredible. I don't know a single other player from the draft next year, okay? I don't know a single player who's going to be drafted next season besides these two dudes, but as of right now, I would be very surprised if they are not the number 1 and number 2 pick. Really hope that Webanyama stays healthy, he doesn't end up having an injury history, because this guy could be something special. And Scoot Henderson, I compared him to John Morant. It's not a perfect comparison, but I think he is another dude who could come in as sort of the underrated second pick and be a star almost immediately. These two guys look phenomenal. Definitely planning to catch the Thursday night game, and you all should as well, to watch them have their rematch, because they are very fun to watch, very interesting prospects.